All right. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Let's see who we have here. Aftar. Hi, Meran. He says, hello, Aftar. Says, I keep thinking of my ex who left me a year ago. It's so easy to think back to the love I once had. How do you stop going back? Male UK 40. Okay. And we have Akshay Maltar. Says, good to see you again. Well, thank you very much. And don't forget the protocol, please. Gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. I'd appreciate it. So let's get back to Aftar. Says, how do you not go back? Well, you can't help not going back, especially when you haven't replaced the relationship with another new relationship and you feel alone sometimes as far as intimacy and wishing to have a companion and to converse or have physical connections and interactions, whether it's outing and having tea or coffee or sports activities or uh, having dinner or lunch, or whether it's intimacy at home or wherever it happens. You might feel, that that's missing in your life, which is very normal. And naturally, you would be directed to the most recent relationship, serious relationship that you had. Because human being, and in this case, we're talking about men, is constantly thinking about intimacy and relationship and companionship and sex and so on. Depending on how busy you are, you could be thinking about it every 30 seconds, every 20 seconds, every 5 seconds, every minute, depending on what you're doing, what you're focused on. And because that thought and that urge and that need is always there, present in your daily routine or activities or desires, so then by default, you will remember the most recent serious relationship that you had and the girl that was involved in it. So therefore, you would be thinking of her. It's not that she's the best one could ever be for you in this life, but that's the most recent one that you can have a point of reference. So she will come to your mind because of the need and the urges and the program that you have in your genes that you constantly think about sex. So naturally, you would be thinking about the most recent girlfriend that you had. So thinking about her doesn't mean it's not an evidence that she was the best one for you. It's just a default setting, it's a default reaction to what your normal feelings about wanting to be with someone. And so she happened to be the most recent one. So if you understand that and separate that, then you understand that just by thinking of her, that doesn't mean that you really should be with her. It just means you need to be with someone. And unless you replace that relationship, you will constantly be remembering her. And the more you remember her and ruminate on it, the more you are training your brain to think about her. So that will be a constant thing, to the point that you say, well, I can't, I don't know what to do. So your most focus should be on creating a new mechanical processes, the things that you like to do during your life, during the day. And from those new mechanical processes, new hobbies, new interests, new things that you want to do and accomplish, whatever field it may be, you will create a new routine. And the new routine brings about the new order in your life. And this new order is where your mind will find security in it. The reason that, as you know, as we've talked about it before, that you're constantly thinking of her, beside the points that we just made, is also because mind finds security differently than the physical portion of your existence finds security. Physical portion of your existence finds security in a secured environment, physical space. In other words, if I'm sitting here and I can see, okay, my ears are here, my nose is here, my limbs are here, and everything is here, and I'm in my apartment, the door is locked, and therefore I'm in a safe part of the town. Let me just close this for a second. And I'm in a safe part of the town, and therefore safe physical environment brings about a physical safety and security for me. But my mind doesn't find safety in the same safe physical environment. It finds its security in the order of life. And you used to have an order of life with this girl in your relationship. Now that order is broken because she's no longer with you. Therefore, your mind is still looking. And I use the mind and brain in the same way here, but mind and brain are different. So your mind is looking for security, even though you're not with you, as usual, it's looking for security, and it can't find the security in the order of your life because your order of your life is broken. You don't have the order that you used to live by. She's not there. She's part of the whole routine. The routine is broken. The order is broken, but the mind is still looking for security. So where can it find? It cannot find it in the actual world, but it can find it in the virtual world. It can find it in your memory. Everything in the memory is recorded, is there. So the mind goes in there, in the memory, finds the same routine and order of life being intact, finds security because of that environment in the memory. And while it's finding security, who else is there? Your girlfriend is part of that memory. And by seeing that girlfriend in the memory, the prerequisites for desire to be born, there's a file with prerequisites for desire to be born. All the criterion of those prerequisites have been met and already recorded in that file. So when your mind notices her in the memory while trying to regain its security through the order that is recorded in the memory, it finds her. And for that reason, the prerequisite file for desire to be born is triggered. And because it's already fulfilled, it's a recording of a fulfilled steps for desire to be born. The desire again is born, and you feel that that desire that is born, it means that you got to have her, you got to be with her. So you keep missing her because of this cycle. So the key for that is to create new mechanical processes in your life in order to create new routine from those mechanical processes, the things you like to do during the day, new hobbies, new associations, new projects, new things you want to learn, and all these other things creates a new order in your life as a result of it all. And in that new order that is created in the actuality of your life, the mind finds security and no longer is constantly going into the memory, because there is an order now established, new order established in your life. So the mind stays in the actual life and wouldn't go into the memory to keep seeing her and missing her and the desire being born for her and all that and so forth. And your life becomes in the present moment, and you'll be dealing with the normal events of life as you did before. So that's what you should be doing. All right. Aman 21 male India, thank you for that. Guiding words 25 male Germany. Guten Tag, wie geht's heute? Says, again, the girl that left me because of her mom. I found out that 3 months after our breakup, she went back to her ex, and now 6 months later, she's engaged. I feel betrayed and struggle. Why do you feel betrayed? Did you want to be with a girl who is not focused on you and is actually thinking about her ex? Well, this is a blessing in disguise for you, that you actually found this out before you go further with her. And so, and you're in Germany. Most beautiful girls part of the world are in Germany. So go on, find another girlfriend. What's there to struggle? You're struggling because your ego says, no, she should like me. Why? She doesn't deserve to like you. She's not qualified to like you because she wasn't committed to the relationship. She wasn't committed to you. Why would you want to be with someone who's not committed to you? Why don't you have respect for yourself? The lack of respect for individual respect for yourself is why you're all over the place and you feel you're struggling, because you've made her to be a trophy of your life, the accomplishment of your life. She's not. She's just one story of your life, and the story that didn't have an happy ending and was not qualified to keep writing that story. So move on. Simple. It's a choice. You can sit there and sulk and cry and waste your life, or you can say, why should I be unhappy? Why is the world experiences summed up in one relationship with this one girl who wasn't committed to me? Why can't I not have standards and say, a girl who doesn't want to be with me and ends up going with her ex is not deserving my attention? Why not? That's the healthy way to deal with life. Otherwise, you can't expect your ego to run you and to become more important than you are. Your desire to run you and to become more important than you are. You are more important than the desire. You are more important than the ego, and you set the tone. These things work for you, not the other way around. All right. Aman says, so I asked that girl directly about if she want to talk to me or interested in talking to me. She was getting a lot hit from other guys on her story for a date, so she was a little cocky, and she said, who said that? I said, I felt that. She said, you felt wrong. I said, I felt that, and she said, you felt wrong. So I said, okay, no problem. Now, thought she's over me. She got new guys, but she still was trying to get my attention and try to act humble if face to face, and try to stay around me a lot. Okay. Now I'm confused. Now I should move on, but I miss her. Do you miss anybody? At that age, you're going to miss any female that is walking on earth. That doesn't mean just because you miss some girl, it's the right girl for you. If she's got too much up her head and she thinks too much of herself, that's not a girl you want to mingle around. She is in love with attention. It's not about she doesn't like you or she likes you or she likes somebody else more. It's about she loves attention. Therefore, it doesn't matter who approaches her, she'll still be looking for. So these are the girls who are not confident enough in themselves, don't see value in themselves. Their value comes from the attention and the amount of attention they receive from outside of themselves. And that's a problem. That's a girl you never want to be with, because she's going to be a wishy-washy sparrow jumping from this tree to that tree, and it will never be something to write home about. All right. Guiding Word says, I'm starting to think that I am really the problem. Maybe if you send me your site so I can make an appointment. Well, the site is known, is right on the on every video that I upload. It's www.mindthatseekstruth.com. That's the site. And you go on and put your Skype there as well when you make a appointment, and then I'll get back to you on Skype and we'll fine tune the appointment on the text on Skype. Aftar says, thank you, Mira. You're quite welcome, Aftar. Ayushman Seth says, good morning, sir. Just wanted to show you my gratitude. You're quite okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, dear. Thank you for being here and joining us. Abhishek Gill says, hello, Mr. Miran. Hello, Abhishek. How are you, dear? And Abhishek says, Mr. Miran, why do we all crave for a relationship rather than just being alone? Why shouldn't we? Because we are animals of pack. We are like wolves. We like to be in a group. We like to have a companion. We like to, and this is our makeup. This is our program in our genes, because there would be no world and no species if we do not procreate. So if there is no woman and man procreating, that's the end of the world. The whole secret of life and existence and continuation and continuity of life is about a man and a woman making babies. And that is engraved in our genes, in our program, that we want to be with a woman. And a woman wants to be with a man in most cases. And that is the secret of the universe going on, life going on Earth. Otherwise, if there is no procreation, if there is no man and woman making babies, that's the end of existence. That's why it is very important. Man and woman, and a relationship between man and a woman to procreate is very important for the survival of the human species. So, this is not something you decide on. This is something that has been decided in your DNA, in your genes. And, even the people who can't make babies through their relationships, they still crave companionship, relationship, because we as a human being, we all have the same need. We need love, we need companionship, we need intimacy, and that is what it is as far as a human being is concerned. Jason C says, I dumped my girlfriend. Jason, I need to know your, the credentials first. Gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. Before I get to your question, that tells me who you are, where you are, something about your background, something about your culture, something about your age and your gender, so I will know how to properly connect with you or address you, and so on. Guiding Word says, I feel as if I wasted time and am not good enough, since this is the fourth serious relationship where the girl broke up with me. Well, I think you're wasting your time by saying these kind of nonsense and garbage. This is life. It's not mathematics. It's about emotional connections and connection between the content of the consciousness of each people together. And sometimes at the outset, because there are other elements of excitement and interest involved, you may not get to know each other's and how interested you are in each other at the beginning. But as the time goes by and you get to know each other's consciousness better, that's when you get to know each other better, because we are our consciousness. So, on that note, then you'll see compatibility is not as you thought it is, or during the time that you are in a relationship with each other, each are growing differently. So the content of the consciousness are being modified and is changing, which changes your interest and compatibility degrees towards each other, and that could cause you guys not want to be together. That's what happens when breakup happens. So it's a natural process of the life, and you're not supposed to be thinking of it that it was a waste of time because it didn't end up to be where I hoped it end up, and I shouldn't have. How could you have known that this will or will not end up where you want it to be? How could you have known and experienced if you didn't go through the experience? How would you have become wiser if you didn't have such experiences? Through these exercises, these experiments, these events of life, you learn a thing or two about women, you learn a thing or two about yourself, and if you're a woman, you learn a thing or two about the man that you're with. The two partners learn things about each other when they're in a relationship, and therefore that is what life is all about. But if you expect that right from the time you're born and they give you a script, okay, this is what you do at this age, this is what you do at this age. At age 18, you find this girlfriend, and at age 20, you get married, and then that's not really, that is not really life. That is just, mathematical equations. So stop talking nonsense and go and find another girlfriend. How old are you? Guiding words. Where are you? Where's your credentials here? Did you give it to me? 25. You're 25-year-old and you're talking like this, like there's no other opportunity, no other girls out there. I'm 67 years old and there's so many amazing women out there that, I could find interesting. You're 25 years old and you think there's no time for you and you've wasted your time. What time have you wasted? You were supposed to go through the nonsense that you're going through at this age anyhow. I mean, it seems very important to you, but 10 years from now, you say, oh, the things that I was doing at age 25 was just wasted time. So most of the stuff that you're doing, most not all, is wasted time anyhow. And you're picking on this one, which is actually the sweet part of the whole experience of life. All right. Let's go back to where we were. Okay. Nidal says, male 25 UK. Thank you for that. Says, after 5 years, we discovered with my, let's see, first of all, can you guys hear me okay? Everything is all right? And Nidal says, after 5 years, we discovered with my ex that we don't fit. I tried to get solutions, but she insisted to leave because she met a new guy. She's very insecure about herself and she's using sex to get loved by that guy. But the guy is enjoying sex without showing her real love. I feel very sorry for her and even responsible. Why responsible? You're her daddy? Should I advise her or just let go? You go away. Go and find another girlfriend who is not a handful of having to guide her what is good for her, what is not good for her. She knows what's good for her. And if she doesn't, well, that's too bad for her. And she will eventually. It's not your job to be her nanny or her daddy to follow and then try to advise her. What advice? You're trying to tell her that I know better what is for you. She's already into that guy. Let her go. Don't waste your time. You're not responsible for her whatsoever. Who said that men are responsible for women who don't want to share responsibility of life and they want to be independent as much as they want without any any interference of anybody else? And you should respect that and leave it the way it is. Don't think you're advisor to anyone unless that someone, whoever it may be, comes and asks you for advice. Otherwise, you have no mission, no responsibility to guide anybody if they do not wish to be guided by you and they wish to be guided by their own brain, however it may seem to you. So leave her and enjoy your life. You have nothing to prove there or to accomplish there. All right. Abhishek says, sir, like you said about procreation, but it creates a sense of desperation as well. So, does this restlessness and desperation is programmed as well? It never goes away. It does. But that's intrusive thought. That's your brain is telling you there is a danger. There is no danger. There is no danger. Your brain is not you. You're not the brain. Brain is trying to tell you something because brain thinks that way. But your awareness knows it's not true. There is no desperation. Desperation is because your desire has taken over and your impatience is not allowing nature take its course, and you just want to fulfill the desire with pleasure that is seeking, and you think that means there's a desperation. There is no desperation. There's no need for desperation. There are millions and billions of women out there, and you're going to run into some of them, whether you want it or not. But the fact that you constantly want to run into some and get some kind of an assurance and conclusion that I have a girlfriend now, that brings impatience for you. And that's what you should not allow. You should let the nature take its course. In the meantime, while that ship, that gift, that blessing, that woman is on her way to meet you, as you, when you look at the ocean and you see no ship, you say there's no ship. But there is ship. You just can't see it because in the field of vision that you have, it's only limited to a certain point. But there are ships on their way to the shore that you're standing. So there are women who will be meeting you. You just can't see them right now because you're not in a relationship with any of them and you don't know them. Therefore, it makes you think that they don't exist. But they do. They're in time and space. They haven't arrived to where you are in time and space. But it will. So in the meantime, you attend to other things that are important in your life, your studies, your job, career, make money and provide and prepare to provide. So when you meet that girl, you have something to offer other than yourself, which is what most women are also interested, not just yourself, but also provisions. What are you going to offer? Women are interested in security, in provisions, in comfort. And they expect it, regardless of what they say in this day and age, they expect man to provide that, at least part of that, if not most of it. Because eventually they want to have babies. Most women want to have babies. And for that reason, they want a man who can provide so they don't have to be having to follow the economic rules and being able to provide for the family or for themselves. So you get busy with preparing for what is going to be needed to have a healthy relationship or a whole healthy center of family until that time and space where you two will meet will eventually show up. And if that didn't work, there will be another. There will always be another. Why? Because life is in movement. Life is a river, and this river is flowing. And as it flows, it meets other things that are on the way of its flow. So don't become desperate. Things are in the right movement, even though you can't feel it or you can't see it. Vita says, hi, Meran. I'm Vita, 41, Spain. Ah, hola. Says, I've been here a few years ago. I'm dating a nice guy, but it seems he doesn't want to commit with me. He's single for 10 minutes. This after a 23 years married. He's single for 10 minutes. 10 10 months, is it? Or 10 minutes? After a 23 years marriage. Okay. Well, don't push him. He's already had an experience of 23 years marriage. Who knows what happened? Maybe she didn't stay committed. Maybe she left. Maybe he's scared. Maybe he's fed up with the, non-committed kind of a attitude of women these days, that they're just constantly trying something and jumping somewhere else and trying to see how many attentions they can get and how much they're worth by how much is going to be offered to them as far as things and fun and opportunities. So that is maybe in his mind, but I don't know about him and I don't know about you, what you guys have talked and what experiences you've had and what your past has been like to have brought you in this juncture of the time and the space and experiences. But generally, if you want commitment from the guy, well, you got to be around each other long enough to see if you're compatible on consciousness level, so you have things in common beyond the physical interest and interactions or attraction. And that I don't know where you guys are. So you might want to make an appointment with me and we'll discuss it in detail. And of course, I'd be able to give you a point or two once I know more in detail about what the relationship, your background, his background, and so on is. Vita says he's asking me to be patient, but deeply inside, I think he just wants to be single. Don't know what to do. Well, you want certainty, you want assurance, and he can't give it to you right now, whether because he's playing a game or whether because it's genuinely that's where he is in life. He cannot give you that. And it's up to you. If you have a better deal going somewhere else, well, take it. If you don't, well, then be patient and see how it goes. You didn't tell me how old you are. 41. Yeah, 41. And how old is he? Uh, Guys and girls, please be kind when you give me information. Give me information about yourself and also a little bit information about whoever it is that you're talking about, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. So at least I know the age difference, and I know if the guy has any children. I don't know any of those. And 23 years marriage, even if he was 23, he should be 46 by now. So, usually, I would say, I may be wrong, but for a 40-year-old woman, the most logical age to have a boyfriend would be towards the end of 40s and mid 50s, if not 60s. It's because you're mature and you're looking for a mature man. At the same time, someone that you would find you very young compared to himself, which would give stability to the relationship that you have. A 42, 43, 46-year-old man, after 23 years of marriage, he's now trying to prove something to himself that I still got it. I'm still young. I can still attract young women. And he's going to go after 25, 26-year-old, 30-year-olds to prove something to himself and to enjoy some kind of a younger woman to his mind. Although the 40 or 41 or 42 or 45-year-old woman, in my opinion, is a full-fledged woman with experience, beauty, if she takes care of herself, wisdom and career, and a complete package, which is very sought after and very sexy and very intelligent, very of quality, the quality relationship could be made with. But a 42, 45-year-old man may not be there yet and is trying to prove to himself that he's young. For that reason, he's going to go for a 30-year-old or 28-year-old or something to make himself feel like he's starting over because his past relationship after 20 years or 23 years didn't work out. So he wants to kind of redo that by bringing somebody else, a similar youth, in order to prove something to himself that he's not defeated, he's still young, and he still can attract younger women. So that is from the outs, from what I see here, that what I can tell you, but I don't know the detail. Otherwise, generally, you'd be better off with maybe a 50-year-old man to appreciate you more, rather than same age man who would think that he's doing you a favor, or he's just settling. At least that's what I'm seeing. Again, not knowing how you take care of yourself, not knowing how the guy fitness level is, or his career, or his provisions, or his lifestyle is. So I'm just spitballing here for what I have. Guiding word says, to be honest, I feel that it's not a coincidence that all my exes left and are now all with their new boyfriends, while I'm still struggling with finding a good. But listen, you again, I don't know enough to say if this is suitable here in your case or not. But it seems to me that you're trying to blame yourself for certain shortcomings, but you're not focusing on changing those shortcomings that you think you have and making yourself a better version of yourself, and then finding a woman. Instead, you think that the problem is you finding the right woman, rather than maybe you turn yourself into the right man the way you want to be, because you're observing your past and your history, and you think that there are some things that you can do better. So make those modifications first, and then go after another girl, and then maybe you'll have a different experience. But if you constantly do the same things that you did before, which in your opinion was the reasons for things don't work out, well, you're going to get the same result anyhow. So you may want to think of that modifications beforehand. Tambi is here. Says, hello, uncle. How are you? Thank you, dear. Good to see you here. You've been absent for a long, long time. Hope everything is going well with you in Qatar. I believe that's where you are. And hope that you have found somebody decent for you, and you're having a balanced relationship with her. Says, I just returned to Qatar. Oh, there you go. Okay. From vacation, I traveled to Turkey, Lebanon, and Syria, in which I went on dates with many girls, but none have stirred my feelings. Okay, fair enough. At least as long as you go on dates, that itself is something very delicious and worthy of the time you spend. And we have Daniel. Says, Daniel 37 from Netherlands, been single. Oh, maybe we need a little bit more light here, no? Would that help? Maybe. Daniel 37 from Netherlands, been single for 4 years, healed from last breakup. Healed? What the hell does this mean? That many people use it. Oh, I have to be healed. Healed for what? There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. Healed. What does that mean? You know, when you say things like that, it makes you think that you're sick, or there's something wrong, or that you have to get better in something. What? Emotional hardship? Okay. Understand it, that these things happen. Okay, next. I know it's not that easy, but you don't need to use the word healed as if you're sick or something devastating has happened to you that you can't handle. That's part of life. The problem is that you guys all think that life is supposed to be smooth sailing, no wind, no nothing, no storm. How are you going to be an experienced captain if there is an ocean that you sail your ship in, and there is no wind, no storm, no ups and downs, no waves? How are you going to learn how to navigate? These things that happen in life, and the relationships that don't work out and all that, these are like a captain and a ship in the ocean, that the ocean is stormy. up and down, wavy, windy, rainy, thunder, and then learns how to handle this ship so it won't capsize. That's how you become an experienced captain. So these things are blessings, although they're not tasty, but there are blessings because it makes you stronger, wiser, and the man that most women will be looking for because he can handle things and he's not going to tip over just by the first blow of a wind of the wave current and movement of the waves. All right, now we go to the rest of it. It says, headed from last breakup, been working on myself, healed from last breakup, been working on myself. I'm healthy, good job, good style, etc. Okay, good for you. And says, I find it harder finding a woman now than when I was going out often back when I was 25. Because at age 25, you had no standards. All you cared about is that she's got boobs, she's got a nice ass and pair of legs, and that's all you expected. So you'd go for anyone. That's how we were at that age. Later on, you develop certain expectations, standards, morals you expect, and all these other things, and your consciousness is developed in more sophisticated way, and you have values, you have principles. Then on that basis, you're going to have a little bit of a more challenging time to find a suitable girlfriend. But at age 25, all you care is if she shows up. It doesn't matter how she looks, or what she's wearing, or what career or education she has, as long as she shows up. So don't compare yourself when you were 25. How old are you now? 37. Oh, yeah, wow. Jesus. Says, I just don't go to bars. Yeah, and you shouldn't. That's not a place to find a girlfriend that often anymore. How do I increase my chances? Well, you need to take initiative where you least expect that it would be a place for you to take initiative. If you see some girl that you think it's got the aesthetics you're looking for, the class or whatever you feel about her, well, it doesn't hurt. You just introduce yourself. You may get rejected. So what? At least you didn't wait for to be in a gym or to be in a club or to be in an event. You pass by their opportunities there, and you may be out of line. If it's not appropriate, don't approach, don't introduce yourself. But if you're just sitting somewhere and somebody else is having, I don't know, tea, and you're having tea or something, and you think she's attractive or something nice about her, that maybe a conversation, if nothing else, you're human beings and you want to enjoy conversation, well, you just say hello. And it doesn't have to become something, it's a human connection. And we all need socializing in order to bring that balance and that oxytocin in, to that neurotransmitter helps you to be more balanced. That simple hello and discussion with a female, or if you're female with a man, or whatever turns you on, uh, it will bring about that balance that most people are trying to find. It doesn't take much to bring that balance, as long there is a appropriate social setting that you can create that conversation and exchange that energy, which will bring that balance that you're looking for. And then that will give you endurance and patience for furthering on your quest for finding the right companion. One moment, please, guys. I check something. All right. All right. Sorry about that. Um, Guiding words 24 German. Guiding words, you're 24-year-old and you have no reason to worry about anything. You have the whole life in front of you and just you're in Germany, for heaven's sake. I mean, German girls, not all, but some of them are just amazingly wonderful. So you have nothing to worry about. Just keep on trucking and find what you're looking for, and you will. Look for what you're looking for, and you will. Mark says, it freaks me out. What freaks you out, Mark? Is that how you start a question? And guiding word says 25. Oh, you just grew in about a minute, 1 year. Abhishek says loud and clear. Okay, thank you very much. Now, Mark says, even after I knew, Mark, I need age, gender, where you're tuning in from. Even after I knew I was a man and I was still feeling slight groinal responses, and it's worrying me. No, it shouldn't worry you. You can get growing responses from looking at the hindquarters of a horse or a smooth skinned tree, for heaven's sake. So stop interpreting. Let the body do what it does, and you just live your life by your choices and vetoes. Vetoes and choices. You're not the brain. Brain is not you. So whatever happens in your body, brain has the power to associate things with things and make the body react to some way. But that reaction of the body is not a evidence that what the brain suggested or the images or whatever it thought is of any credibility or it's accurate. Just don't interpret it and just live your life with your vetoes and choices. That's all. That's the power that you have. Otherwise, you're not the brain. Brain is not you. You're not supposed to follow what the brain says or think what the brain says as credibility. Brain is stupid. There's no intellect there. In all the experiments that Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Owen, Dr. Leibet did, um, um, these are what is it? What's the word? I got blank. These are um, what's that prestigious award that they give? Um, Someone is nominated for, I forgot that word. What is it? Holy shit. uh, I can't remember it. It's the word right here, but I don't remember. Anyhow, these are award-winning type of experiments that they were able to localize different things in the brain when they were doing the neurosurgeries on them. Because when you do surgery on the brain itself, once you get to it through the skull and get to the brain, it doesn't have any nerves, so it doesn't feel pain. So often the patients were awake and guiding the surgeon in the research that he was doing. And Dr. Penfield operated maybe on thousands of brains, and what they have discovered was that they could stimulate part of the brain in the back, occipital points, and they could maybe induce some kind of a light or some kind of a sight in the patient, so they could localize a sight center. They could stimulate part of the brain, and they could have a movement of the one of the limbs. They could localize motoring center. They could stimulate part of the brain, and they could get some sound or speech reactions, so they could localize speech center, but they could never localize consciousness center. They could never localize compassion center. They could never localize political center. They could never localize math center. They could never localize intelligence center. So even in the experiment that Dr. Owen did, when there was a woman who had been in an accident and she was in a vegetative state, the brain was crushed, it was not functional, yet they could still communicate with her by announcing certain questions on the loudspeaker, and they could see what part of her brain lights up, because when a part of the brain becomes active, it needs food, it needs sugar. So the blood runs with the sugar to that part to feed it. And that part that the blood is running to it because of giving sugar to would light up in the system. So they could know the part that she's actually responding to, light or off, was a response to the question that was being announced, even though the brain itself was crushed and not functional, yet the connection, the communication was still ongoing, which means you're beyond the brain. There are aspects of the mind and you that the brain cannot even reach, which means you're the judge for the brain, not that whatever brain puts in your head or intrusive thought that shows up, or the images or suggestions that it makes, or the power that it has to make your body react to something is of any credibility. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the brain itself. And you are the judge of what brain suggests. Therefore, you better understand you're not the brain. Brain is not you. You're the judge of the brain. And your awareness is where you are, which you decide if what brain is suggesting is of any use to you, or you got to let it die by the wayside by paying no attention to it. And this is pretty much the beginning of how you rewire your brain. So, having said that, it just makes you feel that you're independent from the brain, and brain, although very powerful, but it's not you, and you're not the brain. So there's nothing for you to worry about what the brain suggests. So that growing response and all that just happens. You could have growing response for no reason. What are you going to call that? Oh, I'm a nonosexual because I got growing response. I don't know whatever. Stop interpreting all this bullshit. All right. Anyhow, going back to Vita. Vita says, oh, we're talking to Nidal, all right. Damien, male 27, Netherlands, says, hi, Miran. What does it mean when a woman acts like your girlfriend, dates you exclusively, and tells you that you're special to her, but still doesn't want a relationship? Why do you want a relationship with such a girl who doesn't want a relationship? What is that then? She's probably is trying to entice you to come forward and marry her. Or she's just having fun with her life and she doesn't want to have a relationship while she is in a relationship. So, and why do you want to have a label to it? Why do you have to get that assurance that I have a girlfriend, she's my girlfriend? So she doesn't want it, you don't either. And you stop, pull back a little bit, and do your things. And if she says, why? He says, well, because I don't know you, we're not in a relationship, right? You just told me that we are not. And if you're not in a relationship, why would I invest in it more than what I am? So I'm just following your lead. You don't want to be in a relationship, although we seem to be hitting it off with all cylinders and all angles. Okay, we won't. I respect your wishes. That's the best I can do, to respect your wishes. And therefore, you want it to be like that. We are not in a relationship. Well, we're not in a relationship. So I expect any day you're going to sleep with somebody else. And if that's the case, I'm not interested in that. Therefore, there is no commitment. Well, there's no commitment from your side. There would be no commitment from my side. It's not like the more you play this game, the more I become closer or enticed to want you more. I just don't operate that way. You say you don't want a relationship. I respect that. I respect women. Therefore, I don't want to have a relationship, which means I guess we're free to go out with anybody else we want. And if that's the case, well, I don't want to be in this relationship. I'm breaking up with you. If you have the balls to do that, then that's how you react. If you don't, well, just go on and see what she throws at you, and you just take that and eat it and say nothing. And eventually she's going to leave you anyhow, because no woman is going to stand and want to be with a man who doesn't have backbone to say, hey, I don't like this. This is not my lifestyle. So, but having said that, how old are you? You're 27? Okay. Having said that, you don't have to push it and get a title to that relationship. Enjoy yourself, and you find another girl that is going to be willing to give you a relationship, and then you maybe switch on to that one. You can't force her to do what you want her to do. That's what she wants to do. Respect it, but also respect yourself. You find a better situation, you go. Otherwise, you'll be playing the catch up with her. And she will always say, I'm not in a relationship with you. And it keeps you that anxiety and insecurity. And you don't need that. We all want psychological security, which is unattainable, but we all seek and look for it. And if she doesn't want to at least try to create certain kind of a level of certainty, I don't think it's a healthy relationship anyhow. She wants to keep it dangling in front of you, then you say, well, I don't want anything dangling. Get your dangle and move on. And Morshid 29 Dubai says, what is the meaning of life? Just the fact that you have the opportunity to ask a question, that means you're alive. So these questions and lessons and experiences is what we are here for, to experience, learn, and through our experiences, individual experiences, and expansion on the content of consciousness, the universal will learn more and become wiser. Through our experiences, we're the tentacles of the universe, and through our experiences, universe itself as a center becomes wiser and learns how to make this universe a more fair place for everyone to enjoy, develop, and grow, which I think it has failed so far with all the garbage and evils that we have in this world. And they're at work. And Mark says, your HOCD videos have really helped me out a lot. I'm beyond thankful for them, by the way. Oh, thank you very much, Mark, for sharing that. I appreciate that. Yeah, lots of effort. There's lots of effort have gone into making those videos in such a short time. And lots of research has gone in there. So I really dedicated my time and abilities to sift through all these information from times of Aristotle, philosophical point of views, to modern science and neuroscience way of seeing it, and being able to prove it through modern science, what the things was discussed philosophically since 1,000 years ago, including the research and study for years of Mr. Jiddu Krishnamurti's teachings and discussions with psychologists and quantum physics professors for thousands of hours. I worked on these things for years. It's been now over 12 years. And with the backgrounds and the interest that I had, so I have been able to put these together in a way that most people can digest and understand. This is why many of you have told me before, many of my clients, that they do have a psychologist or psychotherapist in some cases, but they don't understand what they're saying. But they do understand the videos and our discussions, because it's all has to do with being able to approach this whole dilemma that the psyche faces with holistically, and to be able to help it to digest and understand it in relation with its own makeup and its own place as a component, rather than thinking of the brain to be you. You're not the brain, brain is not you. And you can find all that scientifically proven, not just by the videos that I have actually, beyond the shadow of the doubt, proven it in the videos with all the logic that is possible to bring about. It's very clear, but also scientifically by Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Philipson, all these other brilliant experts in the science of OCD, in the subject and topic of OCD and OCD subsets. It's been proven. You're not the brain, brain is not you. So to understand that particular point is the perfect beginning to be able to be free from intrusive thoughts, all kinds of it, different OCDs, all kinds of it, including HOCD, pedophile OCD, harm OCD, responsibility OCD, religiosity OCD, every other OCD that you could think of. The key number one is you're not the brain. Brain is not you. Understanding this, you're stepping in the right direction. Nidal says, I think that I am an over empath. Even she talked bad to me after the breakup, and that she has completely changed. I still feel sorry for her because I know she has no self esteem. How can I deal with over empathy? Well, change it. Your over empathy is going to hurt you. So just see it and move on. You may be empathic, you may have over empathy, as you say, but you have no mission to fix the world for the people who don't want to ask for help or don't want your advice or don't want to be helped. You're not responsible for other people. I have stories to tell you guys about my own experiences and uh, the the some mystical interactions I had, which to this day I still don't know what that was, but it sure as hell cleared some things for me. And in a nutshell, was this: you don't have a mission to teach anybody anything. You say what you want to say. If they were interested, you stay. If they were not, you move on. That's it. That was the gist of it. Tambi says this has been happening for the past 4 years. Every year, ever since my last breakup, I met over 50 girls, some of which I've dated and some of which I slept with, but none seems to satisfy me fully. Well, you have to understand that they're not there to satisfy you. You're there to understand them where they are and see if you can tolerate that understanding and that differences. You are going on a date to see the understanding of the differences, to find the differences. You're not going on a date to see how satisfactory she is. Getting to know someone is about understanding the differences. And if you can tolerate the differences, you can compromise, you can talk about it, you can come to some kind of a closer towards from that two polarities of those differences. Otherwise, there would be no two people that they would be perfectly compatible. It's impossible because every consciousness is going to be reacting to same situation differently. So that's why the content of that consciousness, even though the same situation was exposed to it, will be shaped differently because the weaves of each consciousness, the content of each consciousness, the background of each consciousness is different to begin with. So that what happens to each person, even though the same event, they're facing with the same event, their consciousnesses are formed or affected, reacting differently. So there would be no way that two people could ever have the same understanding of life, outlook, same consciousness, and to react things, events of life in the same way. So when you're going on these dates, don't look for someone who's going to be totally satisfied, meaning you're going to have a robot on your hand that will just do what you say. That will never happen. If she is a live, breathing person, she will not be exactly like you or you expect. But she can understand what you expect, and you can understand what she expects and try to do your best in order to accommodate your expectations, both of you. But it's not going to be one way. So that's why you can't choose anyone, because you want a perfect package. And even if you find a perfect package that is exactly satisfying, as you put it, the consciousness is dynamically changing. What are you going to do a year or two from now, where the content of the consciousness of each one of you, even though at one point in time when you met it was exactly compatible, is no longer going to be compatible? It's the understanding that you can be different keeps you together. The conflicts and divisions are normal in every two human being, in every relationship. And there would be conflicts and divisions because that is the whole fabric of our differences, because of our consciousnesses and contents of our consciousness are different. So expecting that there would be no problem in life or no divisions and conflicts because we are compatible exactly or satisfactory to each other exactly, that's just not going to be true. If you go on that specific expectations, you will never find the girl that you could have found maybe already and you passed by. All right. If you're looking for perfect, that will not happen. If you're looking for understanding the differences and then being able to be so expert to handle differences, both of you from both sides, then you'll have a successful relationship. Otherwise, there's not going to be any relationship that is always going to be perfectly with no problems. It's like expecting to sail on the ocean with your ship and there would be no waves and no wind, no storm, and no tsunami, and no bolt of lightnings or hurricane or whatever. These things can happen. You just got to be a good captain, not expect that environment and elements don't go out of whack. Everything and everybody goes out of whack. Your expertise is what keeps it all together, not compatibilities. Hey, that was very profound. All right. Stephen says, hello, Mary. Hello, Stephen. Vita says, thank you so much. You're quite welcome. I bet you guys cannot find these contents and these approaches and these discussions in any channel, anywhere whatsoever. So you better promote this channel. Otherwise, we're going to wither and die because we won't be known. So if you think it's worthy of your attention, then share it and let people know that such thing exists. Support is available. Vita says he's 54. Uh-huh. All right. He's 54. Well, he better actually move it. Otherwise, before he knows it, that number goes up, regardless of how charming or good looking or whatever he may be, he will have a hard time to attract anyone. Because people, although they say age is a number, but they're looking for a number. So 54, he better get his act together, otherwise he's going to lose you. 54 and a 41, perfect compatibility as far as the youth and age is concerned. And if he's smart enough, if he knows, which is hardly to know, he thinks he's on top of the world, but he's going downhill and doesn't know it. So maybe you just talk to him and say, listen, this is what's happening with you, and you're not noticing it. Before you know it, you'll be a bit too old to find pretty girls, younger girls like me. And I'm suggesting to you, let's solidify this. Otherwise, I can't wait for so long, and you're not going to have anyone better than me. You're 54, you better wise up. You won't find a 40-year-old, 41-year-old the older you get. These are your final chances. Maybe you want to phrase it differently so his ego won't be shattered, but don't want to put his back up. But that's the gist of it. If you want to help him, a soft conversation eventually, maybe not directly about him, maybe a couple that that he's like 57 and the girl is 43, 45, and he's humming and hooing, and he didn't take action, and later on he was 60 and then he couldn't attract someone at that age anymore. It's going to give him the gist of it indirectly. All right, Vita. And Vita says he's 54 years old. His kids are 27, 25 years old. He's from Denmark. I'm 41-year old, no kids. Well, listen, I think it's his lucky day if he takes you on. If he doesn't, that's his loss. You still got many years to attract um, what you're looking for, but I think he's still dealing with the past. I don't know when he broke up or when he got divorced, so it may be too early. How old his wife is at the moment? Abhishek says, "Sir, if a person is over emotional and realizes that this is his bondage, then how to keep this in check?" What are you talking about? Because I don't remember your previous question, Abhishek. You need to remind me of what the hell was it that we were talking about. If someone is emotional, okay, if someone is emotional and realizes that this is his problem, it's too emotional, then how to keep this? Well, just be less emotional. What can you do? Learn that the emotional, being emotional, coming from this idea of perfectionism, that you think because you're emotional, you got to adhere to your emotion and satisfy what the emotion is asking for, instead of ignoring the emotion, say, well, shut up. You're too emotional, and there's no need for that. And you might want to go to your doctor and check your testosterone level anyhow. If your testosterone level is not as high as it should be, you may become more emotional, and that is not necessary for you. In the old times when we were kids, our testosterons were very high because the pollution wasn't like this, the food quality wasn't like this, everything was wholesome. So naturally, every boy in my generation, if they were healthy, their testosterone level was through the roof. Nowadays, I had a higher testosterone level at age 60 something, 65, than younger men, because of all this pollution and the garbage in the food and so on and so forth. The testosterone level in younger men is always declining. So you might check it with your doctor, and if there is a discrepancy in the number that it should be, then you might want to look into TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, which is addition to what your body secretes, because you need more of it to bring that balance. So check that. That emotionalness, being too emotional, could be because of that. All right. But check it with your doctor, because I'm not a doctor and I don't claim to be one. And you got to check it and get the prescription for that sort of thing. So it'll be um, a pharmaceutical grade natural testosterone, usually sapionate, is the natural testosterone that it's used for human consumption. But you check that with your doctor and get the proper knowledge. Daniel says, yes, that's true. Now I expect way more in terms values. Okay. Stephen says, I have been trying to choose to be happy, like you said. It's just that I've been feeling so lonely lately with my new job. Few friends I have now. I have now a few friends I have now, and the girlfriend is gone. Listen, girlfriend is gone. You have to understand it. One girlfriend is gone. Not the whole concept of girlfriend ever is gone. Can we get this through your head, Stephen, with all care and love and friendliness? One girl was your girlfriend and she's gone, and the hell with her. Good riddance. But there are billions of other girls around. You're going to bound to run into some of them. Can you please look forward instead of fucking looking backward and going forward? You're going to crash into something because you're not seeing anything. You're going to miss opportunities. Stop looking at that girl's ass anymore. That's gone. Don't turn around. The hell with her. Look for the girls that are there available. They're the ones to worship, not the ones who are gone. All right. And stop feeling sorry for yourself. You're a young man with a good job. Just just go for finding something new rather than hanging on to some nonsense. Please. I'm going to increase my fees whenever you make an appointment. Now it's double for you. No soup for you. Steven says, trying to bounce back. Stop this bouncing back, for heaven's sake. You're not a pile of shit that can't bounce back. You're a, you're a basketball. It always bounces back. It doesn't matter what. You hit it on the ground, it bounces back. That's how you should feel. And get to normal, but feels so difficult. As long as you feel so difficult, it's difficult. You just stop feeling things are so difficult. You know, just imagine, put your hand over here on your shoulder. As long as you say, my hand is stuck to my shoulder. My hand is stuck with the strongest glue in the world to my shoulder. It's one piece. It can't come off. It won't come off. I can't take it off. As long as you think like this, you can't take this hand off. But the moment you stop thinking like this, it easily comes off. So you keep saying, I got to be healed. It's so difficult. Well, it becomes difficult. Mind has tremendous power. But say, no, it's not difficult. I want to be happy. I can be happy. I will be happy. And I find things that I like. And there's no logic for me to looking at that girl that obviously is not something to appreciate because she couldn't appreciate what she had. So the hell with her. That's how you should be. Grow a pair and live your life. And Abhishek says, you said we all look for psychological security. How to do? We look for psychological security, but there is no such thing as psychological security. You cannot attain it. You can take steps to bring about a certain kind of a balance, but things change in life dynamically. So there is no such a thing as psychological security that is permanent. So stop. Just become a ship in the ocean. Become a master captain to be able to deal with the deviation of the water, the currents, the weather changing, the rain, the thunder, all the other things. Be a good captain rather than expecting an ocean that has got no waves and no ups and downs so your ship can sail smoothly. That won't happen. You got to become a better captain. Abhishek says, you're not the brain is not you. Wow, duly noted, Mr. Miller. Good. Watch some of the videos that I have on that note. There is a video that I highly recommend for anybody to take a look at it. And that is called You Are Not... Okay. It is called You Are Not the Brain, and the Brain is Not You. Oops, sorry. Where did that go? All right, this is the video that I want you guys to watch. It's a very informative video. You will love it. It's 48 minutes. It's lengthy, but packs lots of information. Excuse me. You guys get me talking so much with so much passion. And my throat is now. Okay. Now, make sure you watch that video link that I put up here. You know, make tea or coffee for yourself and sit down and be patient and watch it. Maybe not the whole thing at the same time, but maybe 15 minutes and then another 15 minutes and then the last 15 minutes. But as long as you're enjoying it, keep watching it, and you will get a lot out of it and understand more about yourself, and that why you're not the brain and brain is not you. And in fact, in that video, I have described the experiments that Nobel Prize winning echelon of experience that Dr. Sperry, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Owen, and Dr. Leibit had done. I explained that thoroughly in that video as well. It's very, very good video. I mean, might as well I watch it again myself. Talk myself into it. Lots of effort to collect all that information that was actually originally done by Dr. Egnar, and then I used that and enhanced more information and researched more stuff and added some things to it. So it's really, really a good video to help you out to understand yourself better. Nidal says, yes, sir. I think that I suffer from over empathy. My mother has also a lot of empathy for people. I am a very logical person, but empathy mess my focus and logic every time. Any help, please? Yeah, first check your testosterone level just to make sure it's empathy, not lack of testosterone, because that does make you emotional. And I had the same problem at one time when I was so focused on all the atrocities and injustice in the world, in political realm, in safety of people and children, older people and younger people, and all the things that was happening was being done to innocent people around the world, and it was really bringing me down. Then one day I noticed, I said, look, I'm so sensitive about all these things and I care about all these people, but I have no authority, I have no power to actually make the changes that I want to make. So I'll be suffering because I'm taking on a responsibility of something that I don't have the power or authority to unleash what's just and to fix that for them. So on that note, I should not feel responsible because I don't have the authority that should go hand in hand for me to be influential and to be effective on what I want to be fixed. So I stopped focusing on all those things and started focusing on things that I should have done in order to bring balance to my own personal life. And of course, I was always caring and sensitive to these such matters, but I wasn't so much focused on why is like that. Oh, they did that to that country. They did that to those people. They did that to those children. All that. It just, you will be overwhelmed, and that will be a hindrance for your natural balance of life. Aman says, I feel so insecure that other girl will like me or not, since this first one destroyed my confidence. You keep saying things as if your confidence is in the hands of other people. Destroyed my confidence. Who the fuck are they that they can destroy something that you are supposed to be in control of it? Unless you think you're not in control and you are a product of other people's decisions and reactions towards you. What people do towards you or on themselves is a reflection on them, not a reflection on you. If someone doesn't like you, that doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means that person does not understand the quality that you have, and good riddance. Because why would you want to be with someone who doesn't understand your qualities? Huh? That's how you should be thinking. But instead you think what they decide is a reflection on you. How could they decide who you are, what your worth and value is? What they do and what decision they make is a reflection on them. If they don't want to be talked to you, that's a reflection on them, not that it makes you, their decision making you not wise enough or good enough or classy enough to talk to, or bad person. There's no such thing. You make that up. Don't make that up. Be aware of that. All right. Increase your confidence. Don't keep telling yourself, I have low confidence. Well, get more confidence. Don't give a shit. Stop giving a shit about people. That's all. Where do you think they get their confidence? They got a big mouth and they're mean and they say shit because they're incompetent, they're scary, they're scared cat and they're looking for something and they're selfish. Yeah. So those kind of values have got no place in your life. So don't think of them that they're any better than you. They have their own shortcomings and problems. Their shortcoming problems is that they behave this way with you. So you need to understand that it's a reflection on them, not a reflection on you. You think other people are better than you. That's your problem. Stop that. Daniel says, my 2 cents about what you said about growing your channel. One, I think you can improve on marketing. Yeah, but it needs money to do that. Channel name, etc. Well, channel name doesn't help at all because first I've changed it many times. Internet Dad, Mind That Seeks Truth, Breakup, Your Psyche and You. And eventually I said, none of these names of channel has anything to do with the popularity of channel. It's the tagging, is the promotion of it, and it's the quality of videos and so on and so forth. My content is good, I know about that. Quality of video, well, that's what I can do. And the promotion, I don't have any. I tried a few times, it didn't work out. I put some ads on YouTube. 70,000 people saw it, but this is not an entertainment channel. That's why people got to have the need for it. But when they do have a need, they don't find me because I'm way down, I don't know, fifth page or something when they search for something. However, we have 3,000 videos, and there's a chance that eventually people start finding. Now, many people find me, but they all find me by accident. It's not like somehow I'm always there. I don't know. And marketing channel name itself. So channel name, I don't think it has anything to do with the real popularity of the channel because now I change it to the 1 point, the smallest that you can pretty much come up with. And says it's hard to share your channel because who will proudly share this? Psychologist, yeah, I understand that. But I'm not a psychologist, but I do understand what you say. It's true. They don't want people even know that they're watching this channel because it's all about breakups and OCD and so on and so forth. So they will hide it. And says, haha, I keep I keep you very privately. Yeah, I know. As my source. Thanks for your content. You're awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Daniel. Tammy says, Uncle, you skipped 2 of my comments. Did I? Let's go to Tammy's comment. Tammy. Tammy says, it's not that I can't get over my ex. It's just that she knew how to treat me and knew exactly how to stir my feelings and what I want in a relationship. What use does a girl have who knows all these things, but she uses it against you or some way that it would not help the longevity of the relationship and actually causes a breakdown? And who do you think helped her to know all these things about you? You, through your relationship, you let her to know about you, and then she were able to utilize it and then react to it. So you can find and do the same thing if you give the same length of time and attention to another girl that you choose. Don't think she was unique. If she was unique, then she should have stayed with you. If they don't stay, that means their uniqueness is over, no longer unique. And then next one, Tambi says, by the way, tomorrow is a big day in Qatar, the World Cup. Oh yeah, tomorrow, the 20th starts. Oh yeah, the World Cup opening ceremony. Qatar's first match. Canada is participating for the first time. Are you a football fan, Uncle? Oh yeah, big time. Would you support Iran or Canada? I definitely support Iran because Canada doesn't have a good team anyhow, and it's not as big as it is in Europe. And Iran, I support it because okay, I have a history about Iranian soccer. I play soccer myself, and I grew up in that country until I was almost 18 years old, and I could see how challenging their soccer was, up and down, but their brilliance in there, as you can see in many European teams, clubs, Iranians are stars and they're playing in there. But the system of training and so on is a mishmash in Iran. Discipline is not good. That's why the attention to the teams with all those talented players are not enough. Even when we had the top coach in the world, uh, Carlos Queiroz, which I'm proud of his achievements in Iran, they just kept on giving him trouble in Iran, and they didn't let him do his job. Even with all those difficulties, he took Iran to a level of going to the second level of the World Cup, and in fact, almost 1-1 with Argentina, yet uh, because they didn't take the penalty against Messi's team, somehow referees don't like unknown teams come and beat a well-known team. But that game was played very well by Iranians. Carlos Queiroz has done a great job on that team, and yet they lost by one free kick by brilliant Messi's talent at the last minutes or so, and they scored 1-0. But it could have been 1-1, and first goal would have been Iranians' goal, but they didn't give it to them. And it was clearly, everybody even after said it was a penalty and they didn't give it to them. So anyhow, I'm not necessarily really that tuned up on Iranian team either, because they haven't done the work. They got rid of a brilliant coach that they had, Carlos Queiroz. Instead of praising him and helping him, the administration is all corrupt there, and in my opinion, and they did not take advantage of the fortune that they had having Carlos Queiroz there. But anyhow, he brought the level of Iranians soccer to a whole different level, and still they weren't able to take advantage of his expertise, and they eventually caused him to leave. So I'm not really keen about any of them. Canada for sure not, because they really are not a football challenge of some kind. When I came here 42 years ago, I wanted to join one of these teams because I was a goalie. And since then, their level of playing is pretty much fucking the same. A couple of times they had some good players, Bobby Lenarduzzi or something, and then that was it. It's nothing. So I'm not keen for either one of them at the same time, but still more like to see what Iranians have done, because they have a history in soccer. Canada is not a real soccer country. Is new. Soccer to them is new. It's more of a football as it's been in the United States. They follow them, but U.S. is increasing in their abilities in playing soccer because they pour money and training, and they're very disciplined on that. Anyhow, but in general, soccer is one of my favorite sports, and I would be looking forward to see some good games, especially European games, European teams, and we'll see how it goes. All right. Abhishek says, you said we all look for psychological security. Okay, I discussed that already. All right. All right. Now, Nidal says people are lazy. When you put technical keywords, they don't click on the video. You need to make simple and attractive words like how to move on fast, get over your ex, no more breakup pain. Well, I've done all that. We have all those. We have over 3,000 videos on this channel. Pretty much anything you put as far as the breakup is concerned, or OCD is concerned, or HOC is concerned, is there. We have a video on it. But still, well, so be it. What can I do? I guess anyone who really wants it, after finding all these other channels and not getting the results that they're looking for, answers they're looking for, they'll eventually find me. So Nidal says, I think that I recovered 90% from my breakup, but when I remember the first days after the breakup, when I was suffering a lot, the emotions came back to surface. How to remember without suffering? Good question. One of the things that could help you to go through what you just said, how to remember without suffering. In fact, I think I may be able to use this title for one of the videos if I can find the appropriate one that addresses this. But one thing that could help you to remember without suffering is to understand that we're living in a temporary venue. The whole life is temporary. But the problem in life for most people is that they try to turn the temporary, the impermanent, to permanent. The whole life is impermanent. But in this impermanent experience of life, you're trying so desperately to create a permanent situation of an experience. And that's when the suffering starts, when you try to turn the impermanent to permanent. You find an apple, you take a bite out of the apple, you say, it's so delicious, oh, joyful, oh, amazing. Well, that's great, that's joyful, you enjoyed it. And that's a joy. But the problem starts when you say, now I want to have this joy, this apple, this bite, this delicious, every day. For that, I need to have access to the apple tree, same apple tree, every day, and regardless of the elements, the air and the weather or whatnot, or who owns the apple tree or where it is, if I have access to it, regardless of, I want to have it. So you're trying to turn a temporary joyfulness into a permanent pleasure. That's when the suffering starts. Instead of just saying, okay, that was a great thing. Great apple, great bite. Oh, I enjoyed it. Oh, thank you very much, universe. Thanks for the opportunity. But when you go on and say, I now want to have it every day and all the time, and I won't be happy unless I have this every day, then you create a conditional happiness. You create condition for your happiness. And then you try to make an impermanent permanent, and that brings the suffering. The suffering is when you try to turn an impermanent to permanent, a temporary to permanent. So if you understand this, when you have a memory of your past relationship, you enjoy the memory with this understanding in the back of your mind that this was what it was. It had a duration. Like everything else in life has a duration. And this was a temporary, and I should enjoy for what it was rather than wanting to enjoy this for longer than what it was. And that's where the suffering and pain comes in. So when you're thinking about the memory, think about it, enjoy it, and let it be where it was and how the duration of it was, as much as it was, and be happy with that, rather than while you're remembering it, then say, I regret, why is it not continuing for now? That's where the pain is, because of your desire for its continuation. But if you just remember it and enjoy how it felt, that's a positive for you. You just boosted your mood by remembering something good. But at the end of remembering something good, you want more of it and you regret why it's not longer. That's when you turn a joy into a suffering right there because of that attitude. So remember the good things about your relationship, but by remembering that this is supposed to be appreciated for what it was, how it was, as much as it was. Like a plate of food put in front of you, as much as it was, enjoy it, eat it. When it finished, say, thank you, it was great. Rather than say, but I want more. I want it all the time. I want more of this plate. That's when the problem starts, and you forget about the enjoyment of what you just experienced, and you're focusing on the fact that you don't have more of it. That's the problem. All right. We go to Daniel says, I just texted one of my best friends. Hey, Alex, I found the best psychologist. I'm not a psychologist. Don't make that mistake. He helps me with all my emotional girlfriend demon thoughts. He would instantly unfriend me. Man, can't do that. What? I don't get it. I just texted one of my best friends. Hey, Alex, I found the best psychologist. He helps me with all my emotional girlfriend demon thoughts. He would instantly unfriend me, man. Can't do that. I don't get it. Daniel, I don't get the end of it. I don't know what the punchline is. Says, have a nice day. Okay. Uh, uh, oh, I see. Help me with me, my emotional girlfriend demon thoughts. Here is the link to his 1 point channel. It's the 1 point, THE, then 1 point. He would instantly unfriend me, man. Can't do that. Oh, have a nice day, Marin. Oh, I see. If you do that, he will unfriend you. Okay, I didn't get it, but anyhow, thanks for trying. Says YouTube just wants to censor you. You must be for right extremists. It's all just conspiracy theories you're spreading. Lol. Okay. Orlando Suna says, hi, Miran. Orlando Suna, 45, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Thank you for that. Says, it's been about a month and a half since my girlfriend called off our relationship. How do you deal with the emotional charge that comes to you due to memories? Again, when memories come, you got to enjoy them for the duration that it was rather than wanting it to be longer and more and continuation of what it was. The problem with the memory is not the memory itself, is the expectations once you remember things about the past that you want it to continue, you want to have more of it. If you stop wanting to have more of it, you will be enjoying that memory that comes to you. Otherwise, it will not be pleasant because you will think about the good things that comes to your mind about your past relationship, but then you suffer because you wish for it to have continued, and the fact that it's not, that brings you sadness and low mood and turns the whole experience of the memory to something negative rather than boosting your mood because of all the wonderful things that you remembered about that relationship. Orlando says, I do feel betrayed by her since she acted since nice to me and we even had sex the very day that she broke up with me. I feel very angry at her for all her betrayals. Well, listen, again, enjoy it as for what it was. And just remember the taste of the enjoyment rather than the bitter taste of not having the continuation of that enjoyment. That's what ruins the whole thing. Otherwise, if you can focus on the part that was pleasurable and then be joyful about that experience and then move on to find new experiences and new joyful experiences, then you'll be fine. But this whole business of I want more of what it was brings regret, brings um, the low mood, and ruins your mood because you're craving for more of what it was rather than being happy for that what it was as much as it was. Nidal says, when my ex left, I was abroad in that moment and I didn't feel any pain. But when I came back home, I saw our photos. excuse me, bad memories. I found also that my ex was already seeing someone and I suffered. Yeah. But when someone moves on so quickly, you should have no compassion about that relationship anymore. Say, well, if that's the kind of person that this person is, well, then this, what I see in the video or in the picture or my memory, is how she was. But she's no longer how these memories represent. She is the one who just moved on after breaking up with me in a jiffy and is now with somebody else. That kind of a person is not someone that I'm going to miss. You should focus on her actuality now, not on how she used to be, and then thinking that she is today the same way she used to be, but she's left you and she's doing what she's doing now. That person who's doing what she's doing now is not the person that you fell in love and you had a relationship with in the past. Don't mix them all up. That's why it gives you pain and suffering, because you think, how could the person that I loved and we're so good to each other be doing these things? Because this is not that same person. This is a different person. And because it's a different person, you don't care to miss this one. You don't envy not having this one, because this one is not that and you like that. And since you like that, you don't like this. And this is totally different than what it was. Therefore, what it was is what you want, and what it is what you do not want. And if you didn't understand what I said about this and that, well, that makes two of us. I'm confused as hell myself. No, but it did make sense, didn't it? All right. And says, lot because of this, now I'm good. But when I remember these days, suffering comes back. Okay. Also, I'm 25 years old. Oh, you're so young. Forget it. Move on. There's going to be so many amazing other women on your way that you wouldn't even remember this one, just for heaven's sake. I have a very balanced, lead, study, do sport, life, you mean? Huh. I study, do sport. I have a girlfriend, and I was working on a side business. Now I lost my girlfriend. Okay. It's which one did you want to lose? Your work, your studies, or your side business? It's better to lose the girlfriend, because you can always replace the girlfriend, but you can't replace those so easily. It's going to be much harder because the world is not that forgiving. So take care of your studies and your job and your side business, whatever it is. Focus on them, because those are the success in those is actually brings more girls to you. But if the girlfriend was staying and you'd lost all those things, the girlfriend would have left as well eventually too, most probably. So should I find another one or focus on my studies and business? Studies and business. While you focus on the studies and business, you're bound to meet other girls, and then you would have them both. All the money and the success and the studies and the business and so on, and the girlfriend. But if you focus on the girlfriend, you'll be spending all your time to get that, and then you don't have the money, you don't have the expertise, you don't have the studies, you don't have the background, you don't have the credentials you're looking for the future, and that's a real loss and tragedy. All right, guys, it's been 1 hour and 48 minutes. It's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.